Okay, so let's just unpack this right from the start. On paper, this season was supposed to be the coronation.
Oh, absolutely.
You pull off the trade of the decade for Luka Doncic, you pair him with the king, LeBron James,
Right.
and you manage to keep your homegrown breakout star in Austin Reeves. It honestly reads like an NBA 2K simulation where you just, turn the salary cap off and decided to have fun.
It really does. It has all the makings of a classic Hollywood script. You got the stars, the bright lights, the massive expectations.
But we aren't in a Hollywood script right now. We are in the ugly, gritty reality of the Western Conference standings.
Very gritty.
And instead of planning a championship parade down Figueroa, we're looking at a team that is perilously close to falling into the play-in tournament again.
Yeah, it's not great.
The vibes aren't just bad, they are expensive. And frankly, the honeymoon is over.
That is the big takeaway right now. That honeymoon phase regarding Luka Doncic arriving in L.A., it is officially done.
Done and dusted.
Exactly. The initial excitement of the trade has worn off.
Yeah.
And now you're left looking at the actual basketball product, and the product is flawed.
So that is our mission for today's deep dive. We are looking at the Lakers' latest analysis from Gerald Golford.
Excellent breakdown by him.
Really good stuff. We've got game tape breakdowns from these brutal recent losses to Orlando and Boston. We have a new front office hire that has everyone kind of scratching their heads.
To say the least.
And we have a $240 million question mark looming over the summer regarding Austin Reeves.
And honestly, that question mark might be the most stressful part of this entire equation.
We will definitely get to the money because those numbers are genuinely eye-watering. But before we get there, I want to welcome everyone tuning in.
Always great to have you all here.
We know Laker Nation is a global fan base. We've got people tracking this drama from all over the world. So drop a comment and let us know what city you're listening from right now. We'd love to see where you are all at.
For sure, let us know.
But right now, let's start with the immediate anxiety, the standings. The Lakers are currently the 6th seed.
Right.
To the casual fan, a 6th seed means playoffs. You're in, you're safe. So why is the panic meter dialed up to an 11 right now?
Because the 6th seed is a complete mirage.
How so?
If you just glance at the ranking, sure, it looks fine. But if you look at the actual game separation, they are only 2 games ahead of the Phoenix Suns.
And they have a massive matchup against Phoenix looming right around the corner.
Correct. And this isn't just another regular season game. This is a stress test for the entire roster construction. Golford points out that if they lose that game to Phoenix, the gap shrinks to 1 game.
Just one.
Just 1 game. 1 bad week, 1 rolled ankle, 1 flu bug going through the locker room, and suddenly you drop to 7th.
And for anyone who might be new to the current NBA format, 7th means the play-in tournament.
Yep.
You didn't mortgage your entire future for Luka Doncic just to fight for your life in a single elimination game to make the real playoffs.
Exactly. It's the psychology of it. You see it all over the media landscape right now. ESPN, the Dan Le Batard show. The narrative has shifted violently.
It really has.
It went from asking how many rings they'll win to asking if this fit even works at all.
And that shift isn't just media noise or talking heads trying to generate clicks. It's based on the actual data we're seeing in crunch time.
The tape doesn't lie.
Golford did a really painful autopsy of that recent loss to the Orlando Magic. It wasn't just a loss, it was a complete breakdown of the Big Three dynamic.
It exposed the fundamental issue they're having, which is redundancy and hesitation.
Let's walk through that final possession against Orlando because I think it perfectly encapsulates the confusion.
It really does.
The Lakers are down by 1 point. 1 single point. You have Luka Doncic, who is arguably the best decelerator in the game, the best at creating his own shot.
Right.
You have LeBron James, who is still a freight train going downhill. You only need 2 points to win the game. And what do they get?
They settle for a contested 3-pointer.
Unbelievable.
And this is where the chemistry issue shows up glaringly on the tape. Luka had the ball. Now, in Dallas, everyone knows the drill. Luka dribbles, he assesses, and he attacks on his own timeline. But here, there was a hesitation. He froze. He looked for LeBron, then he looked back at the rim. He didn't drive, the spacing felt clunky, the offense stagnated, and they ended up with a really bad look.
Luka actually admitted afterward that he was wrong, that he should have driven the ball or shot it immediately without that hesitation. But isn't that alarming?
Highly alarming.
50 games into the season, and he still doesn't inherently know that he is the guy who takes it to the rim in that moment.
It is incredibly alarming. It shows that the hierarchy isn't settled yet. But honestly, it's not just about that final shot. We have to talk about the free points.
Oh, man, the free throws.
In a one-point loss, margins are everything. And in that same game against Orlando, Luka went 4 of 9 from the free throw line.
Oof. 4 of 9.
4 of 9.
That is just rough. That's leaving 5 points on the table in a game you literally lost by 1 point.
You cannot win at the highest level shooting below 50% from the line as a primary ball handler. It demoralizes the entire team. And even LeBron, who we usually think of as this stabilizing force in big moments, missed a crucial free throw down the stretch. It just signals a lack of focus.
Speaking of a lack of focus, Glufford pointed out a defensive breakdown involving LeBron that I think frustrates fans even more than the missed shots.
The free safety routine.
Yes, this free safety thing he does.
Look, LeBron is brilliant at reading passing lanes.
Obviously.
He's made a whole career out of it. But as he's gotten older, he sometimes cheats off his man to clog the paint because he simply doesn't want to chase guys around the perimeter.
Yeah.
In this specific instance against Orlando, he cheated off Desmond Bane.
And you cannot leave Desmond Bane open.
Never.
The guy has biceps the size of my head and shoots 40% from deep in his sleep.
Exactly. So LeBron drifts into the paint to help on a drive that was already perfectly covered by the center. Bane drifts to the corner, catches the kick out, and bang, 3 points. If LeBron stays home, which is the discipline play, not the superstar play, Bane doesn't get that look. Those are the mental errors that are killing them against disciplined teams like Orlando and Boston.
It kind of feels like they are waiting for the referees to bail them out sometimes. I know there was a missed goaltending call that cost them 2 points in that Orlando game, which Gulford noted.
It was a bad miss by the refs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was a clear goaltend. But here is the hard truth. You can't rely on the whistle when you are missing half your free throws and blowing defensive assignments. Great teams control the variables. The Lakers are currently at the mercy of them.
Right. So the team performance is obviously dragging them down the standings. But I want to pivot a bit to how this affects the individual narratives.
The MVP race.
Specifically the MVP race. Because normally we just look at the stats. We ask who is averaging the most points or the most triple doubles. But there is a rule in place now that is completely reshaping the hierarchy of the league.
Yes, the participation requirement.
This is the games played rule.
Exactly. This was introduced to stop load management, but it is having massive consequences this season. To be eligible for MVP or All-NBA honors, you must play a minimum of 65 games.
Which means you cannot miss more than 17 games in an entire season.
It is a hard line in the sand. 17 games.
So looking at the field right now, who is actually safe?
Well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, is the heavy favorite right now. He is sitting at -125 odds. He's missed 10 games, so he has a buffer. He could miss another week and still be totally fine. He's safe.
Okay, and then there's the Joker, Nikola Jokic.
Jokic is living dangerously. He is at +3, 10 odds, sitting in second place. But here's the twist. He has already missed 16 games.
Wait, hold on. So if the threshold is 17 missed games...
He's on the razor's edge, literally.
Wow.
If Nikola Jokic twists an ankle tomorrow and misses 2 games, he is completely disqualified. The reigning best player in the world is just out of the conversation.
That is wild.
It creates total chaos in the betting markets because one minor injury changes everything.
I hadn't realized he was that close to the absolute limit. I also saw Cade Cunningham surging into third place, which feels surprisingly high.
Yeah, +450 for Cade. That is pure narrative driving the bus. His team is overperforming expectations. He's playing every single night. And because other guys are falling out due to that 65-game rule, he rises by default. Availability is the best ability this year.
So where does Luka fit into this? Because he is putting up monster stats, the triple doubles, the scoring, the whole package. But the Lakers as a team are struggling.
Luka is currently 6th in the odds, sitting way back at 50 to 1.
50 to 1.
He's missed 12 games, so he's relatively safe on the rule itself, but the winning component just isn't there. Voters punish you if your super team is fighting for the 6th seed.
50 to 1 really tells you how much the shine has worn off this trade. I mean, if they were the 1 seed, he's probably the runaway favorite.
Absolutely he is. The narrative drives the vote, and right now the narrative around the Lakers is disappointment. You have names like Victor Wembanyama and Jaylen Brown ahead of Luka in some conversations, simply because their team contexts are way more positive.
Wemby is at 20 to 1 and Brown is at 30 to 1.
You know, it's all about team success at that point.
Okay, let's move upstairs for a minute. Because while the players are struggling on the court, Rob Pelinka and the front office are making moves that signal Well, I'm not exactly sure what they signal. They just hired Tony Bennett.
This was the major curveball of the week. Tony Bennett, the legendary University of Virginia coach,
Won a national title.
won a title. Known for the pack line defense. Very slow, very methodical. He retired from coaching recently, and now he's been hired as a Lakers draft advisor.
A draft advisor. Now, is this just Pelinka hiring a basketball mind he respects to hang out in the building? Or is there a real strategic signal here? Because usually when the Lakers have a first-round pick, the assumption is just trade it for a star.
And that's the key inference here. You don't hire a high-profile draft advisor in February if you plan on trading the pick in June.
Makes sense.
If you're trading the pick, you don't care who is available at number 22.
Sure.
This suggests the Lakers are looking at that first-round pick, which will likely be in the low 20s, and thinking they actually need to use it to get a player.
And the source material mentions this draft class is deep. Can you clarify what that means for a listener? Does a deep draft mean there are lots of superstars?
Not necessarily stars, but flat. It means the difference between the player taken at pick 10 and the guy taken at pick 25 isn't huge.
Okay.
There are a lot of older, experienced college players who can step in and play rotation minutes immediately. That is where the value is. The Lakers need cheap labor because their payroll is so incredibly top-heavy.
Which makes total sense logically, but there is some skepticism about Bennett specifically, right?
Right.
Alfred wasn't entirely sold on this move.
There is a lot of skepticism, and it's the classic chef versus farmer debate.
I love that analogy.
Tony Bennett is a phenomenal coach. He knows how to cook the meal, but is he a scout? Does he know how to spot the ingredients in the wild?
Right.
Evaluating a 19-year-old for the modern NBA game with the spacing and the speed is a very different skill set than coaching a disciplined college system.
Golford mentioned there are guys like Stone Hansen or the Barlow brothers who do nothing but draft analysis 12 months a year.
Right. The critique is basically asking why hire a retired college coach when you could hire a professional talent evaluator. It feels a bit like a name brand hire rather than a functional one. Bennett is a great basketball mind, but his style of play at Virginia was famously slow and defensive-minded. Does that actually translate to finding a wing for the Lakers' high-octane offense?
It's a fair question, although to be fair to the Lakers scouting department, they have had some success late in the draft. Max Christie was a second-rounder who has turned into a solid rotation player.
Christie was a good find, for sure. But their best success story recently wasn't even drafted.
Austin Reeves.
The undrafted gem. Which brings us to the elephant in the room.
The massive, expensive elephant. Let's talk about the summer of Austin Reeves, because this is where the rubber meets the road for the franchise.
This is step one for the offseason. Before they do anything else, before they look at the draft or anything, they have to solve the Austin Reeves equation. And it is a very complicated one.
Set the stage for us. Reeves has a player option.
Correct. He can opt out of his current deal and become an unrestricted free agent. He is turning 28 years old. This is his prime.
This is it.
This is his one shot at what we call generational wealth.
And because of bird rights, which basically allows the Lakers to go over the salary cap to re-sign their own guy, they can offer him more than anyone else on the open market.
That's right. They have the ability to offer him a max contract of 5 years worth $241 million.
$241 million.
Yeah.
For Austin Reeves, I just have to say that number out loud again to process it. That is franchise cornerstone money.
It is staggering. And look, even if he walks to another team, the market value is estimated around 4 years, $180 million. So the floor for this negotiation is likely $45 million a year.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate here. On offense, you can definitely make the argument. He is averaging 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Great numbers.
He's flirting with 50-40-90 shooting splits, which is elite efficiency. He is legitimately playing like an all-star on that end of the floor.
The offensive production is there. There's no debating that. And perhaps more importantly, there's the chemistry factor. Golford highlights the bromance between Reeves and Luka Doncic.
They seem to really get along.
They do. Luka trusts him. When you have a moody superstar like Luka, keeping his best friend happy has a tangible value. You don't want to upset the apple cart.
But you don't pay $241 million for friendship. You pay it for winning. And this is where the defense conversation gets really ugly.
It's bad. His defensive rating is nearing 119.
And for anyone who doesn't track that specific metric, what does a 119 defensive rating actually translate to on the floor?
It essentially means you are a turnstile. Because the other team is scoring almost 1 point 2 points every single time they possess the ball against you.
Wow.
It is bottom tier in the NBA. And we are seeing teams target him specifically. Guilford highlighted how Jalen Williams from OKC just completely abused Reeves in crunch time recently.
I remember that game.
They switch on to him, they attack him, they score. It's basically a layup line.
So here is the dilemma. If you pay him the max, he takes up roughly 30% of your salary cap. Can you build a championship defense if one of your highest paid players has to be hidden in the last 2 minutes of a playoff game?
That is the exact question that should keep Rob Pelinka up at night. There's this romantic idea of the hometown discount floating around. Reeves has said he wants to be a Laker for life. He loves LA. He loves the spotlight.
Yeah, but Kyrie Irving said he wanted to retire a Celtic right before he left. DeMar DeRozan wanted to stay in Toronto. Words are cheap when 9-figure contracts are sitting on the table.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's a business. If a team like San Antonio or Orlando, teams with actual cap space, offers him $180 million and the Lakers try to offer $140 million because of loyalty, his agent is going to laugh them out of the room.
As they should.
You have to maximize your earnings at age 28. He is not taking a $50 million discount.
There's also the structural argument to consider. In a perfect world, on a championship team, is Austin Reeves your second option? Or is he your Manu Ginobili, the super sixth man who comes in and torches second units?
Ideally. He is Manu. He runs the offense when Luka sits. He closes games if the matchup is right, but he sits if you need stops.
Right.
But you cannot pay a sixth man a max contract. It completely capsizes your roster building. You'd have 3 guys, LeBron, Luka, and Reeves, making almost all your money. And 2 of them, Reeves and Luka, are average to poor defenders.
So you're stuck. You pay him and handicap your ability to sign defensive stoppers, or you let him walk for nothing and risk pissing off Luka Doncic.
Talk about being between a rock and a hard place. It is a lose-lose situation unless Reeves suddenly becomes an average defender overnight, which at 28 years old usually doesn't happen.
And remember, all of this is happening while LeBron James gets another year older. The window isn't just closing, it is slamming shut. They don't have 3 years to figure this out.
They barely have 3 months.
So it really feels like the margin for error is 0 right now. Every missed free throw against Orlando, every draft pick Tony Bennett advises on, every single dollar of this Reeves contract, it all weighs a ton.
It does. The pressure is immense. And I think it raises a really provocative thought to leave you with as we wrap up today.
Go for it. Give us something to chew on.
We spend all this time debating whether the Lakers should pay Austin Reeves $241 million to keep the vibes good with Luka. We frame it as a financial question. Can the owner afford it? Will they pay the tax? But the real question might actually be tactical. If they commit $45 million a year to a known defensive liability, does that make it mathematically impossible to build the defensive identity that Luka Doncic actually needs to win a ring?
Man, that is the scary thought. You might pay the money to keep him happy, and in doing so, ensure he never wins the title he came here for.
Precisely. You keep the friend, but you lose the trophy. And in Los Angeles, only the trophies matter.
Well, on that cheerful note, that is our deep dive on the precarious state of the Los Angeles Lakers. It is a messy, totally fascinating situation, and we will be watching that upcoming Phoenix game like hawks.
Every single possession counts.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next time.